Alright, what is going on, guys? So, I've been waiting for this to make this video for so long. Finally, we have the Act 6.3 announcements. So, let's go ahead and break it down. There's a lot in here. We're going to mainly cover the rewards first, and then we're actually going to compare it to what I predicted the rewards were going to be. Really see how close I was, and see if I overestimated, underestimated, and we'll talk about it. But there's also a boost in 6.3. that you can activate to help out with certain stuff, and there's some buffs. So we'll talk about that stuff after the rewards. Focus on the rewards in the rest of this post first. So, continue Karina's mission in the Battle Realm in Act 6, Chapter 3. The champion has been stopped, the 6.2 power boss, while Karina's team is exhausted and wounded from the battle, with Aegon in particular at his limit. The Grandmaster is nowhere to be found, and the anger over Karina's past mistakes are reaching a boiling point. Continue the epic story in the third chapter of the final act of the Elder Saga on November 13th. Legends runs, it's pretty much the same thing as Act 6.1 and 6.2, but this time there will be 60 spots, I believe it is. Yeah, additionally, the top 60 summoners from this chapter's Legends run will be awarded a new 6-star champion that has never been owned by any summoner. That champion will not be awarded until after Act 6, Chapter 4's Legend run is complete. So currently for me, I have one Legend run in the bank. Yeah, one, and I placed within the top 40 for 6.2, so I have this 6-star champion coming my way, but I need to do one more Legends run for 6.3 in the top 60, and then I'll get that champion awakened at Sig 20. So I'm going to be trying to do a Legends run for this, so I can get that 6-star champion awakened. And the rewards for just doing the Legends run 1 to 5 is 10 tier 5 class catalyst vibing crystals at 2% each, which is, that's alright, and then half the T5 basic and 2 T2A for 6 to 100. It's pretty much just half of all that. So yeah, it's a nice little sprinkle on top of the rewards, right? So yeah, we'll talk about the boosts and stuff in a bit and all the buffs. Let's talk about the rewards though. But actually first, let's talk about the energy. So on average, all quests in Chapter 3 will have 3 energy per step, 7 to 10 fights per path, 30 nodes per path, approximately 540 energy for quest mastery. Okay. Now, moving on to the rewards. Sorry guys, my phone, let me mute that. So, I went ahead and put all the rewards just as 100%, added everything together on the Google document that we're going to get hopped to in a sec. But some notable stuff here. For the completion rewards, we're looking at 6,000 6-star shards, and then for exploration, 8,000 6-star shards for a total of 14k. We got a 5-star rank up gems, so we have 1 2 to 3, 1 3 to 4, another 3 to 4 in chapter exploration, no 4 to 5 rank up gem, and no rank 1 to 2 6-star rank up gem, and no awakening gems of any kind, no 5-star awakening gem and no 6-star awakening gem. So I was extremely disappointed to see that. I was really thinking that we were going to see a 6-star awakening gem, the first ever 6-star awakening gem crystal, just get like a random class. Because 6 stars have been in the game for like 2 years now, dude, and we still have not seen any kind of awakening gem except for the generic at New York Comic Con, which MSD won. Other than that, man, no 6-star awakening gems yet, and I think it's time. I personally think that it's time. It's been time for a while, I think. Yeah, so let's go take a look at my Google document where we can really see everything combined together. That'll make it a bit easier. So here we go. Let me just move this over a bit. There we go. Kind of fit it all in there. So, let me zoom out a little bit, actually. That's better. Alright. So for 6.3 100%, I was predicting on the 5-star shards 40,000. I know I was hoping it'd be more than this, but just my guess, and it comes in at 32,000. So I overestimated by 8,000. Again, I think it should be a bit more, but alright, not terrible. That's like 2 feature crystals or 3 basics, I guess. For the 6-star shards, I was guessing anywhere from 15,000 to 20,000. At least 15, because then you can go for a featured if you want, and they're giving us 14. So pretty close on that one. Still, could be a bit better. Then for tier 5 basic, I was guessing 1.75 to 2. If we got like 2 full basics, I was thinking that would be on the upper scale. And we're actually getting 2.75, so almost 3 tier 5 basics, which is better than what I was predicting. So there we go, that's good. As far as the T2As goes, I was thinking anywhere from 8 to 10, and we're actually getting 10. It's 0.75, so almost 11. So pretty close on that one. That's good. I like a lot of T2A and I like a lot of T5B, so I'm happy with that. I was guessing just the one Tier 5 Class Catalyst Fragment Crystals like we got from Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And yeah, we're getting one more of those. And then for the rank up gem, I was thinking we were going to get either a 4-5 for 5-star or a 1-2 for 6-star. And we're getting neither of those. We're getting 1-2 to 3 and 2 3 to 4 rank up gems. I do like the 3 to 4 rank up gems because, that's basically 4 Tier 2 alphas wrapped up in each of those with Tier 1 alphas as well, Tier 4 basics, Tier 4 class catalysts. So those are nice to get, I guess, but no, I would rather a 4 to 5 or a 1 to 2 for a 6-star. I think 1 to 2 for a 6-star would be really nice because, it would help to get people to start ranking 2ing some 6-stars, even if they're maybe not awakened or anything. Like if I pulled a cosmic rank 1 to 2 gem for a 6-star, I'd maybe give it to Captain Marvel. Would I take her up right now on awaken? No. But if I had a rank up gem, maybe I would. It'd be more enticing, right? For Cavalier Crystals, I was guessing 10 to 20. We're getting 8. So overshot that one a little bit. Gold, I was thinking anywhere from 3 million to 3.5 million. Originally, I had this at like 3 to 5 million. I'm like, no, that's way too much. And yeah, that was way too much. We're getting 2.68 million. So, not terrible. And I was guessing a 6-star Awakening Gem Crystal. Really hoping for one. Or maybe a 5-star Awakening Gem, or maybe both. And we're getting none. Not a single Awakening Gem. Extremely disappointed in that. Yeah, I didn't put in any estimation for units because I kind of forgot and I just didn't really know how much to put. So we're getting 540 units, which is good. I mean, yeah, I'll take that. And then for Sig Stones, I was thinking maybe 20 6-star ones. We're not getting any 6-star ones. We're not getting any generic 5-star ones even. We're getting 30 5-star Sig Stone crystals. So overall, it could be worse, guys. It could definitely be worse. It could also definitely be better. But I think if we take a look at the catalystness, it's pretty good. The Tier 5B and the T2A is pretty solid. So I'm happy with that. The rank up gems are disappointing, but a couple of 3 to 4 rank up gems, those aren't bad. Those help you just get 3 to 4 champions easier. Maybe if you don't. I actually know a guy in my alliance. I think his name is Carl. He is struggling for mutant Tier 4 class catalysts. He just can't rank up, I think it's Sunspot, to increase his prestige, because he's just having such a struggle with the mutant Tier 4 class catalysts. Because, he used to be in a map 6 alliance, now when he moved up to Omni, he's in map 7, so we're getting Tier 4 class catalysts a lot quicker now, but he wasn't in the past, so he doesn't really have an abundance of them. So these rank up gems really help people in situations like that. That is nice. I hope Carl pulls the mutant one. So yeah, it could definitely be worse. But really hoping for Awakening Gem. I really had my sights set on an Awakening Gem. I definitely think we'll get one for 6.4. A rank up or an Awakening Gem Crystal. And for all of Act 6, we'll get a 6-star generic. We better, man. We better. But yeah, guys, so that's the rewards that we're looking at. Now, let's go take a look at all the boosts and buffs for 6.3. Alright, guys, so we're back, and we're going to be taking a look at the boosts first. And then we're going to take a look at the buffs and see where some of these boosts can really be applied well. So the first one here is a science one. The boost name is Modified Constitution. Passive damage effects inflicted on the attacker have 85% reduced potency. Additionally, while the attacker is suffering from a passive damage effect, the defender is inflicted with a slow debuff, reducing the ability accuracy of their unstoppable and evade effects by 100% for the duration of the passive damage. And the most applicable quest is The World Today. I'm not sure exactly what all the quest names are. Actually, let me see if I still have this. Does this have them? No, it doesn't have the names of them. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the quest names are. But I'm assuming this just goes in order, maybe. So it's like the first quest. But so this could be very useful against like a Dormammu or a Magic. Reduce the Limbo and Degen by 85% because those are both passive damages. And it applies to Science Champions. So, if you're using like Void or Quake, or I mean, if you're using Quake, you wouldn't even really have to worry about this stuff. But Void, Captain America, any one of the Fantastic Four, Seems like a pretty good boost. And it's not just for Mystic Champs, like anyone else that has an annoying Unstoppable or Evade effect. If you can get the slow debuff on them, that could be very good. So yeah, that seems like an interesting boost. Moving on to the next one, it's for Mystic Champs. It's called Sidorak's Bargain. When activating any special attack, the attacker has a flat 25% chance for each of their active debuffs to gain an Unstoppable buff lasting 6 seconds. Okay, that's interesting. Trying to think what that'd be useful. Maybe it's useful for a specific buff that we're going to be having to fight against, or yeah, we'll come back to that one. So the next one is for Cosmic Champions, Eternal's Boon. Whenever one of the attacker's buffs are nullified, they have a 100% chance to gain a True Strike passive for 14 seconds, allowing them to ignore armor resistances, auto block, and all evade effects. That sounds pretty good. That sounds decent. Next up, we got Tech Improved Subroutines. Whenever the attacker would be bled or poisoned but is immune, they become stun immune for 6 seconds. Okay, that could be useful for maybe an encroaching stun node of some kind. Okay. Next up, we have Genetic Accelerant. Whenever the attacker loses a bar of power, this is for mutants. Whenever the attacker loses a bar of power from any source other than launching a special attack, they gain a prowess buff granting plus 100% special damage per stack. These prowesses are removed after launching any special attack. That sounds interesting, dude. That could be sick with Namor. Okay. Next up, we have Live Intel for Skill Champs. When the fight starts, the attacker gains an Intel passive for 12 seconds. Landing a critical hit refreshes this effect. While active, the potency of all passive damage that would trigger when landing an attack is reduced by 100%. This reduction does not apply to pre-existing passive damage effects. So this could be a good counter to Korg, I'm thinking, because it reduces the potency of all passive damage that would trigger when landing an attack. When you land an attack on Korg, you take damage, or like any kind of thorns or anything. Cool. That could be quite an interesting boost there. Alright, next up we have another Science 1, Enhanced Reflexes. Whenever the defender purifies a debuff, the attacker gains an evasion charge, getting a 100% chance to evade unblocked attacks. Each time an attack would be evaded, one charge is removed. Okay, that could be useful. Okay. Next up for Mystics, we have Valtor's Touch. Whenever the attacker nullifies one of the defender's buffs, the defender is inflicted with a passive degeneration, dealing 50% of the attacker's attack as direct damage over 8 seconds. Each time a degeneration is inflicted, all active degenerations from this boost are refreshed, stacking up to a maximum of 10. Dude, that one sounds like the best one so far. I like the sound of that. Because with a Mystic Champ, most Mystic Champs can nullify buffs. So you're going to be stacking up passive degen. It stacks up to 10. Dude, that sounds sick. That sounds really awesome. Okay, cool. Next up for Cosmic, we have Planetary Might. The attacker's medium attacks have a flat 25% chance for each active buff to inflict armor break. Okay. Reducing the defender's armor rating by 90% for 8 seconds. This debuff cannot stack multiple times, and while active, prevents the defender from triggering armor buffs and passives. Okay, that sounds like a pretty strong armor break. Okay, that's cool. Next up, we have Bricked for Tech Champs. Where the defender's power is drained or burned, the attacker gains an armor up buff, increasing armor rating by 10% for 10 seconds, max stack 8. If the defender is under the effect of a power gain buff, draining their power below a power bar threshold, or draining their power to 0, deals a burst of 70% of the attacker's base attack as energy damage per active armor up buff. Okay, this could be pretty useful. Yeah, I like the sound of that one. That sounds pretty good. Next up, we have Siphon for Mutant Champs. When the defender is struck by a special 1 or 2, they passively heal 200% damage mitigated by armor or resistances. Wait. When the defender is struck by a special 1 or 2, they passively heal. The defender, isn't that the champion we're going to be fighting? I'm confused here. Passively healed, 200% damage mitigated. That one sounds weird. Not sure about that one. Maybe I'm just misinterpreting it. Next up, we have Composure for Skill Champs. Every 10 hits in the attacker's combo meter grants them a debuff immunity for 8 seconds. That's cool. Next up, we have chemical reaction for science champs. When the attacker performs a well-timed block, the defender has a 20% chance for each non-damaging debuff they are suffering to be inflicted with a power sting debuff for 12 seconds. Activating a special attack while inflicted with sting deals 220% of the opponent's attack as direct damage. That's cool. Okay. Next up, we have for mystics, Balthax Purge. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Each time the attacker feels a bar of power, they have a 100% chance to purify all non-damaging debuffs. If the defender has more power than the attacker, this extends to all debuffs. Okay, that's cool. The next up for cosmics, we have Marvelous Metabolism. Whenever the attacker would be poisoned but is immune, they receive a Fury buff, increasing attack rating by 20% for 6 seconds. Additionally, while the Fury is active, the attacker cannot land critical hits. What? That's weird. But that could be useful for Caustic Temper. If you have a Cosmic Champ that can't activate Fury buffs but is poison immune. Like, I don't even know of one. Most Cosmic Champs are poison immune and activate Fury buffs, but I'm sure there's probably one, or maybe that could be useful. Next up for tech, we have Short Circuit. While the defender is inflicted with heal block, the attacker's well-timed blocks inflict shock, dealing 200% of their modified attack as direct damage over 10 seconds. Okay, that sounds really strong. A modified attack, not just base attack. And then for mutant, we have Hypercoagulate. 3 seconds after the fight starts, all new bleed effects inflicted on the attacker have 80% reduced potency and provide plus 50% power rate when landing or receiving attacks. The power rate increase does not stack. Dude, that sounds sick. Especially for like Omega Red. It's going to increase his power rate. So you'll be able to just keep dropping L2s and pretty much have Death Field active. That sounds sick. And for Namor, going to get him to L3s faster. Dude, that sounds awesome. And I think when Namor is inflicted with the bleed, he also gets Outrage. I think it bleeds and incinerates. So, dude, that sounds pretty sweet. And Domino can also shrug off bleeds, turn them into more power, plus an increased power gain rate. That's going to be pretty sweet, man. And then next skill, Tactical Maneuvering. When the defender receives a bleed they are immune to, they have a 30% chance to receive a burst of physical damage equal to 5% of the attacker's base attack per hit in the combo meter. This chance is increased by flat 1% for each hit in the attacker's combo meter. That sounds pretty sweet. Because a lot of skill champs have bleeds. And someone's immune. Dude, that's going to be sweet. It's going to help skill champs that rely on bleeds to do a lot of damage. It's going to be crazy for like Nick Fury and Blade. Cool. Alright, let's talk about some of the buffs now. So, Armored Assault. Well, the defender has an armor up buff. They gain 6 plus 65% attack rating, and their attacks become unblockable. So, I think there was one that inflicted armor break. Yeah, this is Cosmic one. Planetary Might. The attacker and medium attacks have a flat 25% chance which buff to inflict an armor break. So this one could be useful for this Armored Assault one. Okay, then we have Coolant Leak. Whenever a robotic attacker would gain a bleed debuff, they instead gain an Incinerate, which deals 85% of the defender's attack direct damage over 6 seconds. Okay, so this is us. If we're using a robot and we get a bleed debuff on us, we would get an Incinerate one instead. So which one would be useful here? Probably one of the tech ones. Let's see. I don't see a good tech one to help combat this, because only robots are tech. Weird. Yeah. Alright, let's move on to the next node. Cramping. Maybe not every boost is supposed to counter a certain buff. Or maybe I'm missing one. But next up here we have Cramping. While under the effects of a weakness debuff, 5% of the attacker's power is drained every second. Additionally, they suffer 25% of the defender's attack as damage each time they land a hit. Okay. I think there was one boost where you can like purify your debuffs. Which one was that? Which one was that? Every time that's the attacker's combo meter grants them a debuff immunity buff for 8 seconds. So yeah, the skill composure one. you can get debuff immunity, so maybe that would be useful. I think there's another one too. It's Mystic one. Each time the attack fills a bar of power, they have a 100% chance to purify all non-damaging debuffs. So that would include the weakness from cramping. So maybe if there's a node that applies weakness to you, you want to get rid of that. Yeah, you can maybe use those boosts. Next up we have Flail. Anyone's special attacks cause random damage over 10 debuffs on both champions. That sounds interesting. Power Reversal. Whenever the attacker activates a power gain buff, it's removed and replaced with a power drain debuff, draining 50% of the attacker's max power over 5 seconds. That's interesting. Running on fumes. While close to the defender, the attacker gains a fatigue debuff every second, reducing their critical rating permanently. What? Staying far away from the defender causes these fatigue effects to gradually fall off. Okay, that's interesting. Again, there is one to get rid of debuffs, so that can be useful again for this. Then we have Tenacity, 1, 2, and 3. The defender has a 25% chance to purify debuffs, which increases by 25% per each rank of it. And then we have Thunderstruck. Shock debuffs and passives deal 25% more damage to the defender, and they take 90% less damage from all other sources unless they are inflicted with a shock debuff or passive. Okay, this was coming. This is basically like the similar to Pleasure to Burn in map 7 and the poison one. I forget the name of it, but basically you have to apply the debuff to the opponent to be able to really do damage. So shock debuffs. Dr. Doom, man, he applies shocks on his mediums, so maybe he's going to be one of the best champs for this. There's not too many shock inflicting characters in the game right now, so that's interesting. And then Toxican. What? Both the attacker and defender's strikes have a 20% chance to apply a poison debuff, dealing 50% of their modified attack damage over 10 seconds. Okay. So far, these buffs aren't looking too bad. Of course, these aren't going to be the only buffs in Act 6. These are going to be compared with every other buff we've ever seen. If like any buff we've ever seen can also be in 6.3. But it's not looking too bad, and I'm sure if there's some really bad buffs, you'll be able to find a good boost combination to fight it, depending on who the defender is and everything. But it seems interesting. Seems like it's going to take some more planning out, and just some more thinking, strategic planning going into doing 6.3, which is good, and it's also bad because it makes for more time having to plan a Legends run. But this Thunderstruck node, man, is interesting. Maybe I need a Dr. Doom for a Legends run. Maybe which is good because it makes me want to grind for him more. But let me know what you guys think of 6.3, the rewards, the buffs. I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions down below. I think the rewards could have been a bit better. No 6-star ranking gem, not even a 5-star ranking gem, man. Unfortunate, but the shards are still pretty good, and the catalysts are still great. So yeah, I'm still gonna do it. Probably gonna go for a Legends run. Gonna be live streaming all of 6.3 at some point. Might be after Cyber Monday. We'll have to see. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But drop a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you'd like to see more content. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy. Peace out. Share with your alliance.